You wake up beneath an open sky with nothing around you. No house, no bed, no clothes hanging nearby, no refrigerator waiting for breakfast, no knife, no phone, no road leading somewhere safe. Just your body, the landscape, and the next few hours. So how did humans survive before almost everything existed? The strange answer is that there was never a world without technology. There was only a world before our technology became complicated. Long before cities, humans carried knowledge instead of equipment. They remembered where water appeared. They remembered which plants were safe. They remembered where predators hunted. They remembered which stones could break open bones. That knowledge was their first survival system, and it was passed from one generation to another. But our ancestors did not begin with stone tools. The earliest known stone tools date to around 3.3 million years ago. Those tools may have been made before our genus, Homo, even existed. The better-known Oldowan toolkit appears by about 2.6 million years ago. It was brutally simple. A stone, another stone. One hard strike. A sharp fragment falls away. That fragment could cut meat. It could slice through hide. It could crack open a carcass. It could even help process plants. Suddenly, a rock became an extension of the hand. That sounds ordinary now, but imagine seeing it for the first time. Your teeth can only do so much. Your fingers can only do so much. Then you discover that stone can do what your body cannot. What happens when a creature learns to borrow strength from the world? Everything changes. Researchers studying early stone technology have found something important. These tools were not simply weapons. They expanded what humans could eat. A sharp flake could reach meat between bones. A hammer stone could break bones for nutritious marrow. A stone could crush hard plant foods. The world became slightly less impossible. But there was still no supermarket. There was no farming. There was no guaranteed meal waiting tomorrow. Our ancestors lived with uncertainty every day. Food had to be found. Water had to be found. Safe places had to be found. And danger could arrive without warning. A lion did not care how intelligent you were. A drought did not care how hungry you were. A broken leg could become a catastrophe. This was survival without backup. Modern humans live surrounded by invisible systems. Water arrives through pipes. Food arrives through roads. Medicine arrives through factories. Heat arrives through electricity. Our ancestors had none of those layers. If something failed, they felt it immediately. But they were not helpless. They had something more important than objects. They had other people. Human survival was never purely individual. Infants required enormous amounts of care. Food could be shared. Warnings could spread through a group. Knowledge could move from experienced adults to children. A person who remembered where water was could save everyone. A person who knew which berries were poisonous could prevent disaster. A person who understood animal tracks could change the group's entire day. Memory became a technology. Teaching became a technology. Cooperation became a technology. And perhaps this is where the story gets strange. The most important invention may not have been an object. It may have been the ability to preserve useful information. Think about a child learning how to recognize a dangerous animal. The child does not need to discover that danger personally. Someone else already paid that price. That is an extraordinary evolutionary advantage. One generation can inherit solutions created by another. This is called cumulative culture. And humans became exceptionally good at it. But there was another problem. Night. Imagine standing outside after sunset with no electric lights. The landscape disappears. Your eyes lose their advantage. Predators become harder to see. Travel becomes dangerous. The darkness itself becomes a survival problem. Then humans learn to control fire. Exactly when this happened remains debated. But evidence from Wonderwerk Cave in South Africa shows burning around 1 million years ago. The evidence includes burned bone and plant remains inside the cave. Fire changed almost everything. It provided warmth. It provided light. It could discourage some predators. And it transformed food. Cooking makes many foods softer and easier to digest. Richard Wrangham has argued that cooking played a major role in human evolution. His cooking hypothesis connects cooked food with changes in human bodies and energy use. But fire was more than a kitchen. It created a place to gather. People could sit together after sunset. They could share food. They could watch the flames. They could teach. They could communicate. The fire may have become an ancient social technology. Think about what that means. A flame can change the environment, but a group around a flame can change each other. Eventually, humans became better at making tools. Around 1.76 million years ago, large cutting tools appeared. These included Acheulean handaxes. They were more carefully shaped than earlier stone flakes. Some were symmetrical. Some had edges running around much of their surface. And they lasted for an astonishingly long time. Handaxes remained part of human technology for more than 1 million years. There were no factories making replacements. A broken tool meant making another one. A good stone source mattered. The ability to recognize useful rock mattered. Knowing how to strike it mattered. And experience mattered. This was engineering without mathematics written on paper. It was design without blueprints. It was experimentation without laboratories. Humans were learning through their hands. Then something even bigger happened. Humans began leaving familiar environments. Homo erectus reached parts of Asia at least 1.8 million years ago. Stone tools found at Shangchen in China date to at least 2.1 million years ago. That means early humans were moving across enormous landscapes long before modern civilization. They did not have maps. They did not have GPS. They did not have hotels. They carried what they could. The rest had to be remembered. Every landscape became a puzzle. Where is water? Where is shelter? Where can food be found? Which animals are dangerous? Which paths remain usable during different seasons? Survival meant reading the world. And humans became remarkably good at reading it. Footprints could reveal an animal's direction. Broken branches could reveal movement. Bird behavior could suggest water nearby. Clouds could signal changing weather. The stars could eventually become navigation tools. Nature was not background scenery. Nature was information. And the people who understood that information had an advantage. Still, daily life was probably exhausting. There was no automatic comfort, no guaranteed temperature, no clean running water, no instant communication, no anesthesia when you were injured, no antibiotics when infection appeared, no emergency room. A simple wound could become dangerous. A cold night could become deadly. A failed hunt could mean hunger. And yet humans kept going. Why? Because survival was not about defeating nature. It was about negotiating with it. Humans could not control seasons. They could not command rivers. They could not stop predators from existing. Instead, they learned patterns. They moved when conditions changed. They followed animals. They gathered plants. They protected useful knowledge. They made better tools. They shared food. They cared for children. And slowly, they changed what was possible. The first invention was not the wheel. It was not farming. It was not writing. The first great invention was probably realizing that the world could be manipulated. A stone could become a blade. A stick could become a digging tool. A hide could become protection. Fire could become warmth and food. A shelter could become a boundary against weather. A group could become a defense system. And knowledge could survive inside another human mind. That last invention changed everything. Because once knowledge could accumulate, progress no longer had to restart. One person could discover something. Another person could improve it. A third person could teach it. Thousands of generations later, someone could build something completely different. This is why the modern world feels almost impossible compared with the ancient one. Our ancestors did not suddenly become smarter. Their knowledge accumulated. One small solution became the foundation for another. Stone led to shaped tools. Tools supported new foods. New foods supported movement. Movement opened new environments. Fire created warmth and cooking. Cooking changed diets. Groups preserved knowledge. Knowledge created better tools. Better tools opened new possibilities. The chain kept growing, and eventually, we inherited the entire chain. So, when you look around your room tonight, notice something strange. Almost nothing around you exists naturally. The walls are invented. The light is invented. The chair is invented. The screen is invented. The food packaging is invented. Even the idea of measuring time is something humans constructed. Modern life is an enormous layer of accumulated solutions, but beneath that layer is the same animal. A body that gets hungry. A brain that searches for patterns. A person who needs other people. That part has not disappeared. We simply built a world that hides it. Our ancestors looked at a stone and saw a possible tool. We look at a stone and usually see a stone. They had fewer objects, but they had to notice more. They had to remember more. They had to understand more about the immediate world. And perhaps that is the strangest lesson. Humans did not survive because they had everything. They survived because they learned to do more with almost nothing. Before cities, there were landscapes. Before machines, there were hands. Before books, there were memories. Before classrooms, there were people teaching beside fires. Before civilization, there were millions of small discoveries, and each one became part of the next. So, the world before invention was never truly empty. It was full of problems waiting to become knowledge, and humans survived by turning knowledge into possibility. The first technology was not something humans held in their hands. It was the ability to look at the world and think, this could be different.